Okay, we have an AW4 out of a Jeep. This is Chrysler's version on the A340. It's the same tranny basically. Valve body's a little bit different. Bell housing's a little bit different. Other than that, you're the same. I guess I need a small parts basket. This one came in because it's leaking out the front profusely. So we're going to go ahead and do a rebuild on it. Obviously we're going to have to do some wiring. Somebody's been playing around with the wiring here, so we're going to have to go in here and check all this out. Straighten all this out, and this one's going to be fun, it looks like. So 10mm on the speed sensor, somebody's already taken it loose. 10mm on the connector for the harness. 10mm on the kick down or throttle cable. $12mm on the neutral. .7/8 on this nut right here. You don't have to take it all the way off, just loosen it up. We are going to take it off later. I'm going to go in here and clean up this connector, or this neutral switch. I'm going to have to redo all this conduit here and check our wires here and make sure they're okay. Dang it. Cooler lines fittings are, the clips are missing, so we're going to need cooler line fittings. 14mm on the tail housing here. Usually this cable is up underneath here, and usually just take this off, but somebody's bent it. So we'll just leave it on there for the momentary, and when we get to the rebuild, we'll straighten all that out. When you're flopping this unit around, be careful because it will break this cable. Usually it breaks it right down here. You can repair it, but it just adds more time to everything that you got to do, so try to be careful with it. All this wiring is supposed to be up here going through these brackets. Okay, pay attention to how your speed sensor rotor is. Magnets facing that way. There's a snap ring here. There's a little key. I do not put this in a small parts basket because it likes to fly away and disappear. Alright, 14 millimeters here. $17 millimeters. $12 millimeters. A pair of snap ring pliers. Pull our snap ring out. Pull our cover out. And our servo and spring. $10 millimeters on the pan. Go ahead and pull our cable off. So we don't have to worry about breaking it no more. Disconnect our wiring. Go ahead and pull that out. You don't have to worry about screwing that up no more. $10 millimeters in the filter. Back to everything in here. 10 millimeters. take that one off. I took that one off. Go ahead and pull our tubes out. Set our valve body off to the side. I got 2 accumulator springs up here. These I will keep off by themselves, lay them in the order that they came out of so that I know where they go, because there's a bunch of different configurations on this. You do not want to mix up where this stuff goes, or you're going to start getting shifting issues, harsh shifts, sloppy shifts. So keep this stuff where it goes. Some have 2 springs, some have 1 spring. You don't want to mix it all up. Trying to find the info can be very difficult sometimes. Wrong hole. There we go. Pull our spring out, our pivot pin, and our actuator comes out. There's a little E-clip here. You want to be careful and not lose it. Set that off to the side. Pull our pin out. There's a seal that goes in here. Pull that out. 12 millimeters on the support. Here, we're going to get right in here between the drum and the ring gear. We're going to push our pump out. You can use a puller on it if you want to. I just push mine out. They usually come out really easy. Out, because we're going to need it. 10 millimeters on the back of the pump. There's a race here. Alright, our bushings on the stator are pretty critical as far as how lockup works, and they still look pretty decent, but I'm going to go ahead and order them, and if I can get them, that will be great. I will change them. The way things are getting right now, it's getting hard to get parts. Go ahead and mark my gears of how they were. Don't know. I think we should go ahead and order a pump. It's on the iffy side right there. Besides that, the bushing is spun. So, it depends. Probably still going to get the bushings because they will more than likely get a used pump. And we'll go ahead and change those. And there's a bearing in here. See if we can get it out. Sometimes they'll just leave it in there, and when I go to wash it, it'll come out. I think I'll just leave it for right now. We have a race. And I want to check our Sprag Operation. Go ahead and check these clutches. They're just old. Alright, we are turning counterclockwise, locking clockwise. You want to try this several times. Give it a little bit of force because you want to see if it's going to let go. Alright, we'll take the drum apart in a minute. There is a captured bearing down in there. Just going to want to make sure it's not blown up. This bearing is not what usually goes bad. It's this bearing here. All these planets have a tendency for these bearings to let go. We got a race on the back. If you haven't done one of these, you probably want to take these bearings and zip tie them together so that you know where everything goes. Ring gear looks okay. We'll make sure the teeth aren't screwed up. There's another bearing here. Our snap ring. More than likely this has been built before. Pretty rare that they haven't, especially this old. Clutches are glazed. We got another tapered snap ring here. The taper faces out towards you. And the opening is at the 6 o'clock. It's definitely been worked on before. Support should come out. You need to go pretty straight. If the planets have been blown up in here, this can be very difficult to get out. Okay. Sometimes a seal remover helps. Get in there. Kind of work it out as evenly as you can. And we have a race here, washer here. Go ahead and pull our snap ring out. Return spring, our piston. There's a couple different heights of this piston, so if you end up having to replace the center support because it got screwed up because the planet's blown up, make sure that you get the right piston in case your piston gets screwed up. Check ring grooves back here, and it's okay. Our bearing's okay. Pull the drums out. We got a race here. Go ahead and pull our band out. Looks pretty decent, but starting to look a little strange. They'll start flaking off, so we'll go ahead and get a band for it. Check our clutches. Make sure we don't need any steels. the steels are a little on the iffy side, so we'll go ahead and get them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And somebody has definitely rebuilt it before. They've taken the steel that was screwed up on one side and flipped it over. Got a washer here, bearing and race here, and take our clutches out. Alright, and look at our bushing, make sure we're not ring grooved. Starting to eat just a little bit where the sun shell was. This is still usable. And the bearing and race here, race here. Look at our teeth and our bushing. They're looking good. Got a bearing and race here. Make sure we're not pitted. Need a pair of snap ring pliers. And our snap ring. Our front planet. Bearing and race here. Make sure we're not pitted. Make sure our pinions don't wobble back and forth, and that the play up and down is not too much, and that they're rolling nice and free, don't feel rough. Another Sprag here, turning clockwise, locking counterclockwise. Go ahead and mark that. Washer. And we got a snap ring here. Clutches and ply plate. Washer. Snap ring, beveled. The bevel faces up towards you. And like I said, I did put it at the 6 o'clock where it belongs. Sometimes you need a little help with the scrab. Get in there and pull it out. Here we go. Go ahead and pull the output shaft out the back. The rest of our gear train comes out. Center support. Alright, let go. Another Sprag assembly. Turning counterclockwise, locking clockwise. You just want to leave this one together. You can go ahead and pull this out. Just leave this together until you get ready to build it, and you can change this washer out. It's down inside here. Do the same thing with your planet as you did the other one. Another race, another bearing and race, and a washer. Alright, all of our planets are looking good. Another bearing race back here. Alright, all that's left in the case is the spring cage. The way I do it is I just get a pry bar and I push down on the cage. I get another long skinny pry bar and I push the snap ring off. You can take it and put it in a foot press if you want. Use a spring compressor if you want. Putting it in a foot press just makes a mess. Our spring cage, snap ring. Shoot a little air into the piston. Alright, usually only one of the pistons comes out. Get you a couple 90-degree scrabs. And work the other two pistons out. Just get in there and hook behind them. Alright. This one here, I'll just push the snap ring off of it. It's a pain to get something on there to put it on and take it off, so this is the easiest way to get it off. You got plate on top, return spring. Usually it's easier to just shoot a little bit of air. Try to keep it where it's even, because it'll cock off and then it makes it harder to get off. Snap ring. Return spring. Piston. Snap ring, return spring. And our piston. Make sure our ball is free. snap ring, return spring, and our piston. Alright, this one's pretty straightforward. We're going to need a pump. Get the Bushings LS kit, which is a kit with clutches, band. Be careful on some of these older Toyota style trannies of changing the pump bushing. Sometimes you can screw yourself trying to change that. A lot of them are line bored, which means they put the bushing in and then they bore it in the pump. And if you go and you change that bushing, you may not ever get it to turn free on your torque converter, because you're going to have to line bore it and you're not going to be able to do it. So do be careful. Most times you can get by with changing the pump bushing, but if you change your pump bushing and you find that your pump will not turn freely on your torque converter, better buy you another pump, because you're not going to straighten it out. Let's see. We gotta go check our hub on our converter. More than likely it's getting replaced also. Filter. I guess that's it for this one. Alright, we'll see you on the rebuild.